Hey guys, it's Deja here. If you're new to my channel is based on self-love, mental health, what have you. I do want to disclaim that I am not a licensed therapist. I'm not a professional. I am dealing with my own mental health, but I do want to say I am going to therapy. And what I hope to bring to my channel is to get my techniques that I learned there and bring them here to those who may or may not be going to therapy, or you may be going to therapy, but you have like a sucky ass therapist. So I don't know. I replaced my therapist, I don't know how many times, and I finally found a good one. So yay. It has been a long journey. It's been a few months, but I finally found a good one. But anyway, that's what I want to say. I am not a professional, but I do hope to shed some light in someone's life. Hopefully you found this video if you need it. But for this particular video, I want to help people describe what depression feels like. There are a few videos on YouTube, but they describe it scientifically, like the chemicals, and all that, but I wasn't looking for that. And why I want to do this video is because I am experiencing, um, you know, my spouse. He has never dealt with, he has probably had like depression when like a family member died, but he doesn't experience depression the way I do and like so many others do, which is a daily thing. And it's to the point where I do need medication and therapy to better myself. But yeah, hopefully I found a really cool website. I will link it down below. I do not know the website. Do I know it? No, I didn't save it. I will link it down below so that you guys could check it out. But I'm only gonna list my 10 favorite descriptions of depression, and then at the end I will describe my own depression to you guys. So, number 1, Horace Hogg says depression is like living with a glass wall between you and the world that you keep hitting but can't break through. Which is very relatable. I feel like I'm in my own little rain cloud while I see other people just enjoying their life, and it's like all sunny and everything. It's just, yeah, yeah, relatable. Um, Christina McMallen says, I have been describing it recently as a guy inside my head shouting at me and telling me I'm shit 24 hours a day. On point. uh, do I really have to explain why that's relatable, or like that's it? It's not like schizophrenia, but it's your inner voice. Just, you know, for me, I don't have enough confidence. My self-esteem levels are just like below, and my inner voice is negative sometimes. But going to therapy, I have learned to kind of shift my thoughts, just like I can't think of anything right now. Like, whoops. For instance, I can't cook. I always beat myself up about that. But then I gotta, shift my mind. Think of a positive way. I fucking hate cooking. I hate cooking. I never wanted to learn. I was never taught. So, you know, whatever, but I hate it. I hate the process. I hate doing it. No. Like, I don't really care anymore after, like, telling myself that, but I used to, like, tell myself, like, maybe I'm abnormal. I don't know how to cook. No one's gonna want to marry me. I married a cook, so I'm good. But, where was I? Charlotte or ER, I'm not sure, says, it's like the worst day of your life. Every single day. It feels like everything's falling apart and worthless, even if it's not. Yes, like nothing could be wrong, but every day it feels like there's something wrong, which maybe there might be. Your emotional plate might be really full and you need to like release that. And a therapist. Therapists are professional listeners, so I highly suggest it. And if you're not benefiting from it, maybe you have a sucky ass therapist. Um, and you have the right to change your therapist. And if you don't know how, you could actually call their office and ask. You don't have to talk to your therapist like I did. I talked to them on the phone and told her straight up, like, you're making me dread therapy, and I know I shouldn't be, so you're out. Just kidding. But let's see. The next one is Helen June Krumpholt. When I was younger, I described it as feeling as though I had been run over by a bus. Not that it was painful, but that it was a huge weight on top of me that I couldn't move. People were always saying I should do this or try that, but they couldn't understand that I was pinned under it or couldn't get out. And then I'm gonna like pause for a second because the next one kind of explain that one further. Katie Ellen Sinfield says, I constantly have this invisible weight on my back, but I always try to fight the exhaustion. Sometimes it's too much though, and so my bed provides a safe and wonderful relief. If you know someone that's depressed, or you don't know that they're depressed, but if you notice that they're in bed a lot, that's usually a sign of depression. I was attached to my bed for like 4 years. Like, it's just a comfort zone. And I used to describe to my therapist that it felt like my depression was a person. I named her Diana, and I told her that it felt like Diana was always in bed asking me to just cuddle with her. You'll do everything tomorrow. Just cuddle with me today. You want to. It's your comfort zone. No, do not listen to her. Don't listen to her. Fuck Diana. Let's see. But yeah, very relatable. Depression is exhausting. I don't know why, but it's so hard to do anything. Like, so much is get up and get in some day clothes instead of being in your pajamas. It's so hard to find that motivation and energy for it. Rachel Melissa says, just existing, not living. I think that was pretty much on point too. I feel like I'm pretty much just living and waiting to die instead of living life, in the moment. Just letting life go by. Andrew J. Chisholm says, simple things seem as if you're climbing the tallest mountain when you do them. Like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, getting up and getting ready for the day. It is so hard. And when you do it, you should reward yourself because that shit was hard. Trust me, I know. Go reward yourself, After you do that, it may seem like a little thing for like anyone else, but for you, it was a big step. Darren Stewart says, it's exhausting. Thought processes are slowed down by a pressure pushing you down, by holding you back. You have to work twice as hard to do normal things. You are to do normal things. You are battling your mind that just wants to close down, but you have to keep fighting. That one was like kind of all over the place, but I do understand like you have to work twice as hard as like the average person to do daily things, and that's normal. I'm dealing with that. I'm still in my pajamas, and it's, what time is it? I don't know what time it is. It's 12. Where was I? And then your mind wants to close down, but you have to keep fighting. I understand that to a spiritual level. My soul wants to just, like, it's ready to just go. But my body keeps going. It's hard. Jackie Campbell says, imagine your saddest moment: death of a loved one, pet, ending of a relationship. Remember the despair, anguish, and anger. Now multiply that by 100 and feel that for no special reason. I don't really have to explain much there. She explained it perfectly right there. Maisie? I don't know. Maisie K says, it can be like having the top layer of your skin removed. Everything feels much more sensitive. For me, it's like everything people say points to me being disgusting or worthless. I understand that too. When you're depressed, you're sad about everything and depressed about everything, your flaws, everything. So when someone points something out to you, it's like that's your proof, to why you're so depressed. Which isn't necessarily the case. If someone's pointing out something negative, they're just being a fucking asshole. And if you're being sensitive, they're the ones with the problem. It's like, you're not being sensitive. They're just being a jerk. And that's it. That's it for you guys. And how I wanted to describe my depression mentally. What does depression do for me mentally? Sometimes I have difficulty sleeping. I think about, my mind runs a lot. Depression is linked to a lot of other mental illnesses, which I'll get into in my next couple videos, but depression does have an effect on my sleeping. I either sleep too much or I don't sleep at all. And I've been in a spot where I have slept too much and it was bad. Sometimes I have trouble paying attention. My attention span is bad sometimes, which is why sometimes I keep saying or sometimes I'll look at something and then I'll come back to the topic, and sometimes I'll forget what I was talking about. And another thing, I put it down here, it causes other mental illnesses such as anxiety, PTSD, ADHD. What does depression do for me physically? like all these other people, I put heavy. It's it's very difficult trying to find motivation and energy to do so much as get out of PJs. What does depression do for me emotionally? Depression is more than being sad, but it could look like different things. I could be crying, or I could be silently numb, or I could be with a smile on my face. You wouldn't know. It could look like so many different things, but emotionally, I'm in pain. What does depression do for me spiritually? You don't care about anything. When you're depressed, you really don't care. I was in that spot. I don't really like to talk about religion, like on my channel, but a couple years ago, I I was angry with God, and I was like, that's it. I don't believe in you anymore. If there's a God, you wouldn't be, doing this to me. But a few years passed, life happened, and I got back in touch with God, which is making my depression a whole lot easier. But when you're in a spot where I was, you do not care. And I didn't write this one down, but I should have. What does depression do for me financially? You don't care. You will go on binges and you will shop for all the stupid things that you will think will make you happy, and then you'll be depressed after because you're broke. So it's like a cycle. And then my last description of depression, I'm going to use metaphorically. Depression would be described perfectly from the movie Stir of Echoes. The character that said this quote that I'm going to say in a few seconds was actually talking about psychic abilities, but replaced psychic abilities with depression, if that makes sense. So the character says, the movie quote says, "It comes and goes. Some people have it for 5 seconds, some their whole lives. He's a receiver now. Everything's coming in. He can't stop it. He can't slow it down. He can't even figure it out. It's like he's in a tunnel with a flashlight. But the light only comes on every once in a while. He gets a glimpse of something, but not enough to know what it is, just enough to know it's there." And why I think that describes depression, my depression on point, specifically when he's talking about it's like he's in a tunnel with a flashlight, the only light comes on every once in a while. That's kind of what my depression feels like. It feels like I'm in a dark, depressing tunnel, and like my flashlight, my happiness, comes on every once in a while. Like I'm happy every once in a while. Or like I described to my therapist, it's like being in the woods, like it's really foggy and you're just like trying to get like down, down that path to the sunshine, but all you could focus on is the fog around you. While when you go to therapy, your therapist could see where you are in the woods. So having a therapist kind of like helps you like guide through that fog, if that makes sense. But yeah, that is my depression. I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope you will take all this information, and if you're having troubles with someone understanding depression, I hope you use these explanations. Or like I said, I will post the website down below so you guys could see. My next video is going to be about anxiety, so stay tuned for that. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to me. I have no subscribers, so I am hoping to, reach someone out to, like, I was a teenager once. I know what it's like, to not have anyone understand you. I'm 26 years old, so not too far, from being a teen. Well, actually, quite a long time from being a teenager, but I still understand what it's like. And or even if you're not a teenager, if you're the same age or older than me, I hope I shed some light in your life. And if you're going through anything, don't think of suicide. Don't think of permanent solutions to something that's temporary. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you have a good day, and I have to get back to life. I have to clean my apartment. So I'll see you guys in the next video.